The world has about 20 years left before one of Antarctica's most important protections could be challenged. For decades, this frozen continent has been kept from becoming another battleground for great power competition. Mining is off limits. Territorial claims can't simply be expanded. Military activity is tightly restricted. From the outside, Antarctica seems too remote to fight over. The ice is massive, the weather is brutal, the cost of operating there is enough to make most countries think twice. Yet the world's major powers are becoming increasingly serious about their presence on the continent. They don't want to arrive late as 2048 approaches. Because if the rules governing Antarctica are ever reconsidered, the countries that have already built a foothold will be in a much stronger position. And beneath Antarctica's ice lies a very good reason why the world is paying closer attention to the coldest continent on Earth. To understand why Antarctica has become part of long-term strategic calculations, we first need to understand its unique place in the world. Unlike most land on Earth, Antarctica isn't treated as ordinary territory. A network of international agreements keeps competing interests from pushing too far. Science serves as the primary reason for being there. Clear limits force even the most powerful nations to tread carefully. But the more researchers learn about Antarctica, the more obvious it becomes that the continent holds too much value to ignore. And that's where this story begins. A continent deliberately kept neutral is slowly becoming one of the most important places in the future of our planet. Antarctica is one of the rare examples of nations choosing restraint over rivalry. In 1959, 12 countries signed the Antarctic Treaty in Washington. From that moment on, Antarctica occupied a unique position unlike anywhere else on Earth. The continent would be dedicated to peaceful purposes and scientific research. Considering the Cold War was already underway, that agreement was remarkable. The treaty prohibited military activities that could turn Antarctica into a source of conflict. Military personnel and equipment could still be used for scientific missions and logistical support, but not for building military bases or projecting power. Before the treaty existed, several countries had already claimed portions of Antarctica. The agreement neither erased those claims nor allowed nations to use them to expand their territory or pressure others. Then, in 1991, the system was strengthened through the Madrid Protocol. The protocol designated Antarctica as a natural reserve devoted to peace and science. Most importantly, it banned mineral extraction for commercial purposes. Scientific research could continue, but commercial mining was prohibited. The catch is that this protection contains a date that many governments are already watching closely. The Madrid Protocol entered into force in 1998. After 50 years, its provisions can be reviewed. That doesn't mean Antarctica automatically becomes open for mining. It doesn't mean protections disappear overnight, but it does mean a major debate could begin if enough parties choose to push for one. 20 years is not a long time in global politics. Countries building research stations, expanding logistics networks, and collecting data today may find themselves in a very different position when those discussions eventually arrive. In Antarctica, being there first often means understanding more, preparing earlier, and having greater influence when the future of the continent is debated. The rules still protect Antarctica from open competition, but the more we learn about the frozen continent, the easier it becomes to understand why powerful nations have no intention of leaving. Antarctica's value isn't simply a result of its size or isolation. Its greatest treasure may be something that appears completely ordinary: ice. The Antarctic ice sheet contains roughly 60% of the world's fresh water. That alone makes Antarctica one of the most important natural reserves humanity has ever known. But the ice preserves something even more valuable: history. Every snowfall adds another layer. Over thousands of years, those layers compress and trap tiny bubbles of ancient air. Those bubbles allow scientists to study Earth's atmosphere from long before modern civilization existed. Carbon dioxide levels, methane concentrations, volcanic activity, temperature changes, all preserved inside the ice. Researchers retrieved these records by drilling deep ice cores. The deeper the core, the older the story. Through the Beyond Epoca project, scientists recovered ice that contains climate records stretching back approximately 1.2 million years. The air trapped inside those layers existed long before the first cities, nations. This is why Antarctica matters far beyond any potential resources hidden beneath the ice. Its frozen layers preserve an irreplaceable archive of Earth's climate history. If that archive is damaged, humanity loses information that can never be recreated. Without it, understanding the future of our climate becomes far more difficult. That is why Antarctica attracts two very different interests at the same time. Scientists come because the continent contains answers about Earth's past. Governments pay attention because whoever understands Antarctica first may gain knowledge that few others possess. And the deeper researchers look into the ice, the more they discover that ancient air is only part of the story. Something else lies beneath. As scientists dug deeper into Antarctica's secrets, they discovered something that makes the continent far more complex than it appears. Beneath the ice, water is moving, not small puddles, entire lakes and hidden waterways. Researchers have identified roughly 675 subglacial lakes across Antarctica, many of which have never been directly explored. One of the most famous is Lake Vostok. Buried beneath nearly 2.5 miles of ice in East Antarctica, the lake stretches for hundreds of miles and has remained isolated from the outside world for millions of years. Places like this fascinate scientists because liquid water survives in complete darkness, under immense pressure, and extreme cold. And these lakes aren't always still. Satellites can detect subtle changes in the ice surface when water moves beneath it. In 2025, researchers using cryosat data identified 85 previously unknown active subglacial lakes. Findings like these matter because water beneath the ice influences how glaciers slide toward the ocean. One of the most visible examples is Blood Falls. Flowing from Taylor Glacier, the striking red water looks like blood pouring from the ice, but the color comes from iron-rich brine, reacting with oxygen after reaching the surface. From that single red stain, scientists learned that Antarctica's hidden underground systems contain minerals, salts, and chemical processes concealed beneath the ice. All of this makes Antarctica far more than a frozen block of ice. Above lies snow and storms. Within lies Earth's atmospheric history. And below, water slowly moves through a hidden world that remains largely unexplored. The more humanity looks beneath the surface, the easier it becomes to understand why Antarctica never truly escapes global attention. The deeper scientists investigate Antarctica, the clearer it becomes that the continent is anything but dormant. Beneath West Antarctica, geological forces remain surprisingly active. The region sits atop a vast rift system that allows heat from Earth's interior to rise closer to the base of the ice sheet. In some areas, that heat helps melt ice from below, influencing how glaciers move toward the sea. Particular attention has focused on Thwaites Glacier and Pine Island Glacier. Both are located in West Antarctica, the region responsible for much of Antarctica's ice loss in recent decades. Geophysical studies suggest elevated geothermal heat beneath Thwaites. Researchers have also found geochemical evidence pointing to volcanic heat sources beneath parts of Pine Island Glacier. This doesn't mean massive volcanic eruptions are occurring beneath the ice, but it does mean the ice sheet is being affected from below as well as above. Antarctica's changes aren't driven solely by warmer air temperatures. Ocean water erodes ice from the front, geothermal heat works from underneath, and enormous ice sheets gradually lose stability over time. The results are already visible. According to Copernicus data, Antarctica lost approximately 4,876 gigatons of ice between 1979 and the end of 2024, contributing around 13.5 millimeters to global sea level rise. Most of that loss came from West Antarctica. Earlier, Antarctica appeared to be an archive of Earth's past. Now it looks increasingly like a factor that could shape humanity's future, and that helps explain why major powers continue to pay such close attention. In a place as hostile as Antarctica, maintaining a continuous presence is an achievement in itself. Not every nation can fund long expeditions, sustain research stations year-round, break through sea ice with specialized vessels, and collect data from one of the most inaccessible places on Earth. China has become one of the clearest examples of growing involvement. In February 2024, China opened Qinling Station, its fifth Antarctic research base. Located near the Ross Sea, the station strengthens China's ability to conduct climate, marine ecosystem, and logistics research across the region. Russia's presence is equally significant. Its Antarctic history stretches back to the Soviet era. One of its most important facilities is Vostok Station, deep within the Antarctic interior. In January 2024, Russia unveiled new infrastructure there, allowing researchers to remain through the harsh Antarctic winter, when access becomes nearly impossible. The United States remains a major player as well. Through the United States Antarctic Program, America operates key facilities including McMurdo Station, Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, and Palmer Station. McMurdo serves as the primary logistical hub for personnel, supplies, equipment, and scientific missions throughout Antarctica, the United Kingdom, Australia, India, Japan, South Korea, Germany, France, Italy, Argentina, and Chile also maintain significant interests on the continent. They build stations, upgrade facilities, conduct expeditions, and strengthen their ability to operate in the Southern Ocean. Officially, all of this is done in the name of science, and science genuinely is the foundation of Antarctic activity. But as more countries expand their capabilities, it becomes increasingly clear that Antarctica holds significance far beyond research alone. Behind all the scientific work lies a question that never fully disappears. What exactly is hidden beneath Antarctica? Scientists have identified evidence of mineral resources across parts of the continent, including coal and iron ore. Yet no commercial mining exists there today. The rules forbid it. The environment makes it extraordinarily difficult, and extracting anything from Antarctica would be incredibly expensive. The U.S. Geological Survey has noted the possible presence of resources including freshwater stored as ice, geothermal energy, coal, oil, natural gas, and manganese nodules. But identifying resources is not the same as proving they can be economically extracted. Even so, information itself has value. Geological surveys, seabed mapping, and rock sampling help countries understand which areas may become strategically important in the future. That is why geological research in Antarctica sometimes attracts suspicion. In 2024, questions were raised within the British Parliament regarding Russian activities on the continent. Russia maintained that the work was scientific in nature, and Britain stated there was no evidence of resource extraction. Yet the fact that the issue reached parliamentary discussion shows just how sensitive geological data can be in Antarctica. And if commercial mining were ever permitted, the consequences would extend far beyond a single mine. Developing Antarctic resources would require ports, roads, airstrips, fuel depots, worker facilities, power generation, and shipping routes capable of operating in some of the harshest conditions on Earth. All of it would occur in an environment where ecological recovery is painfully slow. Even a relatively small oil spill could persist for years. Then comes the geopolitical challenge. If one nation gains access to Antarctic resources, others are unlikely to stand aside. Each would arrive with its own justification: energy security, strategic minerals, supply chain resilience, national interests. Before long, Antarctica could shift from a continent of research to a continent of competition. Perhaps humanity will eventually possess the technology to do it. Stronger ships, better drilling systems, more advanced mapping tools. But the real question isn't whether we can, it's whether we should. Antarctica may ultimately become one of humanity's greatest moral tests. Can the world continue exercising restraint, or will it eventually sacrifice the most protected continent on Earth for resources that may not be worth the cost? 2048 does not automatically mark the end of Antarctica's protections, but it could mark the beginning of a much larger argument. If the rules that have safeguarded the continent for decades are ever challenged, the world will find out which nations are still willing to exercise restraint and which have been waiting for their opportunity all along. Because Antarctica isn't just about ice. It isn't just about resources. It's about whether humanity can leave at least one place alone when the temptation beneath it becomes impossible to ignore.